The Yale Theater in Capitol Hill is participating in the Partners in Preservation Main Streets campaign. That means the Yale Theater is competing with other historic projects around the nation for funding, and you can vote at voteyourmainstreet.org up to 5 times daily until October 31st. You can also tour the Yale Theater during an open house event. It's coming up this week, Thursday, October 5th, from 4 to 7 p.m. And to learn more, we are joined by developers Steve Mason, Amy Apatone, and Jane Jenkins from downtown Oklahoma City. Great to see you guys.
Good to be here.
You guys are world travelers, Nashville, Columbus, all over the place from this past weekend and now here in the studio. Thank you very much for your time. Let me start with Steve and Amy. We caught up with you guys earlier this year as the news broke that you would be developing the Yale Theater in Capitol Hill. How's it going?
It's going well. We first thing we did was we went in and replaced the roof. Had a lot of leaks, so we had to stabilize the building. So we replaced the roof. We've started peeling back some of the layers on the front, trying to get back to what the original building was. Like we peeled back a layer of fake brick, you know, it's a 1/4 inch thick, which we wouldn't use today.
Sure.
So we've peeled it back. We've had the structural engineer in there. We've started the architecture plans.
We're looking at a little bit of the footage from inside, and it looks like there's a ton of potential here.
Oh, it's a beautiful theater.
Did you guys find any surprises when you're peeling back the brick?
No.
Or other things?
We purchased it honestly as is, and it has not surprised us in any negative way. I think what has been surprising is how fun the process of reimagining the past and bringing that into the building for today, working with the architecture and the designer and looking at old and historic photos has been a lot of fun.
So when you guys were hopping into this project, what was the goal? You say it's a lot of fun to reimagine this property. What are you reimagining for it?
What's fun about redoing a theater is it often serves as sort of the crown jewel for any district. And so that was one of the first properties we wanted to look at in Capitol Hill. Sometimes it's not the biggest return on your investment to redo a theater, but from an actual financial standpoint, but it's often a huge return on investment from a community standpoint, because people often think about that space or that place as where they were before, they saw films, and then we get this opportunity to reimagine that and make it a gathering space for the community again that's present there. And so that's our goal, is honestly to create a space for the community to use and enjoy again, and then develop the things around it and just create that community.
Perfect segue to Jane Jenkins. We'll bring you in at this point. You can dovetail off of that. What is the importance of building community in spaces like Capitol Hill?
Oh, I think that people really need to feel like spaces are theirs and that they belong to them collectively and individually. And I think what Steve and Amy are planning specifically for the Yale Theater to serve as a gathering place for the community around Capitol Hill makes it even more special. We want people to feel that, you know, our areas and our districts in downtown Oklahoma City belong to the people. We want them to use them. We want them to own them. We want them to think of whatever spaces are here as their spaces. And I think that's what the beauty of the Capitol Hill project is, and that they're definitely planning for it to ultimately be used that way makes it even more special.
It's interesting. I'm a city boy, grew up on the south side, and I remember my mom would take me and my sister to the Capitol Hill Library all the time. So we were in that district a lot. So it's intriguing to me to see the growth and potential coming back into that area. How did you guys find out about this Partners in Preservation?
Well, I was contacted by the National Trust for Historic Preservation that they were looking for projects, for applications for projects. They had some pretty specific guidelines that they wanted that involved a preservation project that wouldn't be more bricks and mortar, that would be less than $150,000 in a traditional Main Street setting. And there weren't a lot of buildings in our downtown area that sort of met those qualifications.
Gotcha.
So I called Steve and said, what have you got? Plaza District, Capitol Hill. Let's make a go for this. Let's present an application and see what happens. And so we settled on the Yale Theater, and our application was accepted. So now we're one of 25 projects that are vying for these funds.
Once again, you can go online and vote at voteyourmainstreet.org is the website right there. I believe you can vote up to 5 times a day. Paige has got it right there.
Per email address. Just
per email address. There you go.
Per email address.
All right, and that lasts until Halloween on October 31st. You mentioned the Plaza District, and Amy, well, both of you guys are heavy hitters, movers and shakers in the Plaza area. Capitol Hill Plaza, what are the similarities and perhaps direction?
Well, the similarities are that they're small business districts in the middle of a community. So for us, this was a no-brainer to just stretch right across the river, and we had a really wonderful years working in the Plaza District. Very proud of what's happening there today. We did that through partnerships and community engagement with volunteers, other developers, and we're hoping the vision with Capitol Hill is it's a very similar area, but it has a really awesome community present there. It has a thriving Main Street. It has an association. Many people live around the area. It's very similar to the Plaza in that way. And so we're hoping that the people who are present now in Capitol Hill, which has a pretty strong Latin influence, will just continue to be engaged, that we can engage with them, and that we can create a unique district that highlights and focuses on who is already there, the culture that's there. And that's a pretty exciting prospect for us, I think, to get to work with a different community of people.
Were you guys there this weekend for the Fiestas de la America?
I went to both the Plaza District and Capitol Hill, the 2 festivals.
Right. What sort of feedback are you hearing from the community there?
There's excitement. I mean, as we've spoken, the Yale Theater is a centerpiece of that community. The Yale Theater's use collapsed in the 70s. It closed, much like of our urban core. And so they're excited, 30, 40 years later to see a rebirth. And, in the last 10 years, Capitol Hill on 25th has come a long way in improvements. And they're excited to see it come back. And it's very similar like to the Tower Theater on 23rd. For all the development on 23rd, people are most excited about the Tower Theater.
That's what you hear constantly.
I mean, it has a presence, it's a strength. And if you'd fixed all of 23rd but not the Tower, they wouldn't be near as excited. So the Yale's kind of like the Tower. You can't fix 25th without fixing the theater.
And I'd say the same in the Plaza District. Lyric Theater put millions of dollars in before really anything else happened, and that was so exciting, and it made everyone think, okay, let's gather around this sort of crown jewel. And so we see, the Yale Theater the same for historic Capitol Hill.
And again, it serves as a focal point, a gathering place for folks in the theater, as well as memories that older generations might have of attending films, or in the case of the Yale wrestling matches, I guess, at one point. But younger folks going in to experience the kind of offerings that are available in the theater now, like in the case of the Lyric and the Plaza Live Theater, and so they're creating their own memories. And I think Capitol Hill has such an interesting history anyway, because it was a separate municipality with the hopes of hosting the state capitol before statehood. And the name of the street was Commerce Street. And when the Harn family donated the land for the state capitol off 23rd Street, and they weren't going to locate it south, then they absorbed into the city of Oklahoma City, and we're no longer a separate municipality. But it's a real interesting history and a very thriving, business district that was there.
Interesting stuff. Jane Jenkins bringing the information right there. I'm not sure I knew that story. Good stuff. All right, Steve and Amy, great to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Jane, always good to catch up with you again. You can vote at voteyourmainstreet.org. Also, that open house is coming up this Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank you, Dave.